Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is the New York session. We are into a new month. We are in on May 1st. Today is Wednesday, 2024. All right, so really quick what we're looking at, because we only have about 2 minutes. I'm not going to go too crazy on top-down analysis, but just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at since this morning at 7 when I write my game plan up. Well, FOMC week, this is today, so we want to see if dollars going to go higher, if it's going to push away from 106.50. I could see it, possibly pushing away and going lower and pushing up our futures markets, our indices, because if you look at this daily, we're in a perfect spot when it comes to inside the last down candle. Now, we could go ahead and go start breaking lower to the 2024 opens. Obviously with ES as well and YM, we could do that. But when you start looking at like intraday timing, make sure I'm watching the clock here. When you're looking at intraday timing, I really like this 4 hour candle, right? So I'm really focused on playing inside this 4 hour candle from a higher time frame perspective, and then looking for my signal inside the internal liquidity range today. So if it can hold this area, then I'd love to see it pop up and fill this gap potentially. That's the 4 hour, and then going down to, and you can see all three here. On a 1 hour perspective, we have a high of day open, high of day open, high of day open on all three. And they could easily just slip that high of day and fail. Or they could build, onto this bias to go higher, to go fill this gap here, fill the gap here on ES like 50.77, and come into this 38,200 level again. So we've got about 40 seconds before the open. So I'm actually going to, switch you guys over to the snipe window. But trade safe today. Make sure you went through your trader's constitution, and just remember, we're here to win 3 to 5 days out of the week. We know our setups, we know our rules. We want to limit our risk and have that predetermined number. And let's just play the game. So I'm going to be taking futures positions on the side. I will be taking a little bit of CFD as well. So watching all three on that 1 hour, ES is running for that high of day. So, this looks like as if this wants to do the very same thing. So from that New York Open, I am good. Like I said, unless you have any entries lower, I would be waiting, because what I like to really focus on is I don't really care about this as much as I care about the 5 minute candle. So and the 5 minute swing. So it's like when you look at this 5 minute swing, we're from here, if it lets me draw, from there, right, to up here, right? And so if we were to make our way back down, I'd probably buy below monthly open, and somewhere in this area I'd like, but I don't want to just buy it right here. Now we have been selling, but I would like to sell above the high of the day, if I'm going to do that as well. So we'll see what we get here. And so price is bearish off that open, which is great. I mean, it could go down and take the low of the day, 17,412s. But I just don't see anything that's just clear to me. So we'll see. Yep. Definition of industry. So very interesting price when you're looking at all three, especially across the 1 hour and their 15s. You have YM, screaming up, taking the high of day. And you have ES kind of showing a little bit of strength, but NQ falling over here. So maybe they're just absorbing orders inside of this range. Like I said, me personally, I'd rather play down here below monthly open, putting my risk at these lows here, or playing down in this part of the range. It's going to be the best bet. Playing up here, like I said, I just don't. I don't want to just play the 1 minute bounce. I want to be able to play that 5 minute. And so this area does look good, but I'd rather play it lower of the 5 and 15 minute swing. Definition of initial.
Initial need.
So what I'm focused on now is just something I've been noticing from recordings is this is from 8:30 to 8:35's close, right? So, I'm a better buyer than I am seller. So when I look at this upside down, if I was going to wait, or if I was going to grab let's say a sell position, I'd want price to pull back into the 17.5s and possibly above New York Open. But if it just takes off and sells, I'm not going to be upset because I do want to buy below this monthly open. All right, so it's somewhere down in here, 450s would be nice. So I am going to kind of start framing that up for potential because it also is inside of a really great 1 hour spot. Okay, so the stop loss would be the low on this market here, 17,438 flat. 38 flat, and then take profits are going to be 650s. And if I'm opening up 2 contracts, so I plan to manage the trade and then tie off the rest. 17,650, let's say. Okay. And so right now, if they go ahead and pull price up as well, I definitely want to know where that 1 hour open is. So I'm going to mark that as well here. Which, like I said, I could be late to the party there, which is fine. I'm not gonna stress it really. But that's where that 1 hour open is. So if I wanted to play that 1 hour position, I could have that understanding. But for me personally, like I said, I would rather have price go below the monthly open before I take an entry on this to reduce this risk down dramatically. I really don't want this number to be too much farther over $600 to $800 ever. Now, looking at the other two, this could be a spot to buy, was off that London Open, off that 5 minute down candle here. All right, so I'm going to reframe some stuff, but like this down candle price rallies, comes down, hits, you put your risk at the 640, 17,462s, and you're entering at like the 70s, fives. That could be a good trade because, like I said, ES on the 1 hour right now is looking pretty strong. So maybe that 1 hour tap was, in that green area was it, and it was also in alignment with that 15 and 5, especially the 5. So no big deal. Just kind of being here, being patient. We'll see what we can get. And then taking a look here at dollar. Not really showing any signs of strength. And then for that first 5 minute close, I mean, that was a break of structure to the downside, right? Or not a break of structure, excuse me, but it was just a break lower to the downside, but the 5 minute structure is still holding. So this kind of looks like yesterday, how it was selling off, to be honest. It broke lower low like it does here. Like that, lower low. And so then it started to play up. So like I said, I'm a better buyer than I am seller. And that's kind of what what happened yesterday. So we'll see what they do. Just be patient. Just watch. So right now that 15 5 minute structure is holding. and it's basically absorbing the orders inside the expansion at the right area. So, looking at ES, uh, from 4 hour, 1 hour and down, I just wouldn't see why they wouldn't want to go take the high of the days. But nothing clear to me yet. So like I said, yesterday's price was very similar, especially after the 5 minute had already shown weakness. So I continue to watch here. And YM is just flying off of the, off of that 38,000 level and flying. So it's up about 60 points since that area. And the way this is building, like I said, it's just, on a higher time frame, I'd want to see this go up and fill this inefficiency here. So if it ends up working off that area, then kind of like I was saying, and I just didn't take the trade. It's just that 1 hour open. You want to mark that because then you would be able to tap that and frame it up on the 5 minute here, right? So yeah, maybe we'll get some, maybe it'll pull back, maybe it won't, see. But with this next 5 minute close here in 50 seconds, you've gotten pretty much nothing but bullishness, right? Since I'd say like 6 a.m., right? So we're in a bullish market. We don't want to trick ourselves out of that right now. Now we did get that break, like I said, in this internal, but until we really were to break lower, this is still pretty strong. Now we do have to remember today is the FOMC release. So the reason why I was saying why I don't want to buy unless it's below monthly open is because it's too high, right? From a higher time frame perspective. And the same thing, like I said from yesterday, when you're highlighting the last up candle inside the smaller time frame, you've gotten the push lower, the first 5 minute close, and you had to rally back up to New York Open. Then you can actually factor in a trade potentially if you wanted to go short, right? Attacking the lower of the days that basically just sitting there at 17,412. You could be attacking that, putting your risk something similar to this. So I'm not in the trade, so I'm just kind of speculating at this point. But let's just say that hypothetically, you had a risk of these highs here, which would have been 17,518, which is about a 17-point risk. So let's just say, give or take, you had about a 20-point risk, and then you were targeting the low of the market, right? You would be going a little bit farther down into the 17,430s, 420s. That wouldn't be a bad trade, especially coming off of, being in a bearish market already. But I think what they're doing on the 1 hour, when you look at it, they're absorbing the orders inside that area to eventually go higher to fill the inefficiency. So we'll stay focused here. Let's take a look here just by itself. And so, like I said, I'm a better buyer than I am seller. So it's like the way they're playing that price right there with already making that dramatic fall, they'll probably swipe that high of the day, 17,518, and then things could get interesting. So if they don't, then what they did yesterday was they basically came up, showed this, and then price sold off at the right time. So we're really just watching this 5 minute, 15 minute swing, seeing if they're going to go above that high of day. And then, we did get that sweep on YM, but you're not really seeing that strength to go over high of day right now for NQ or ES. So I'm watching kind of closely here. But like I said, when I flip that upside down, better buyer than I am seller. most of the time. It's either they're going to hold this area or they're going to swipe that low, aka that high. So this is our current structure in my eyes, honestly. All right, so this low to the current high, right? So until that structure was broken, then we would continue up, I would think personally, until like that level, breaking the high of day, and then hitting the 17,550 area, and then filling the inefficiency here at 17,650s possibly. So still learning, even though I'm not in the trade. Still, analyzing. But like I said yesterday, the manipulation happened right here. So we'll really watch price here. So I do like how prices failed in that area, right? You had that last up candle in that 1 minute. We have 1 minute before that 5 minute closes. So, if I was to enter here, I'd put my stop here. So I'm actually going to frame up a little something there. Price is having a hard time with the 17,500. And then the stop loss would be basically, let's say high 17,511 and a quarter. 511. Now I want this price to be in alignment with that New York opener 17,500, and then take profits will be 350s. We'll look at that area potentially. Okay. And so now what we really want to see is going to be how this 5 minute closes, right? Because if it's closing and that 1 minute looks good, I want the price above New York open so I can put my risk here, or in that last up candles open. So if I don't get that, then I'll just keep my CFD position that I have and I'll just continue to watch here. Because I want, May is about, making things or letting things come to me, but really working the system. Right. So there's nothing wrong with, missing this area right now to me. Have multiple accounts so you don't have FOMO, but we'll still walk through the trade, right? Price has made that lower low. Price failed to come up and close a 5 minute candle back above 17.5. And ever since, that break, that engulfing candle, it comes back up and touches here. It's like I said, I can understand a buy a lot better. If price was to come down like it did, come back below New York open, I buy below New York open, right? Putting my risk at the high, price extends down, hitting target 1, 2, 3, and 4 level, right? You want to know those price levels, then yeah, then price could really work out. So I do have this on CFD. I personally don't have a futures position right now. Because like I said, I want it to literally come into the areas that I want. Still though, when you look at it, we haven't broke that 5 minute area that we're looking at currently. All right, so we'll keep that in mind as well. And that's why I want to be so precise when it comes to the futures entries, because I mean, I take this, that'd be great. Above New York open, 17,505, putting your risk at like 17, be like right in here, 17,517. That wouldn't have been bad, or using the stop loss high, 17,518. So let's see if we can maybe possibly get a little something here. Okay. Now looking at ES, you're kind of seeing price fail. So you're not really seeing exactly what you want to see, but let's see here. So I want price to be at or above New York open if I'm going to take that trade. And then looking at the other two, they don't look as strong on this 1 hour 15. So I could see this level possibly failing, right? And look how the alignment is. We're on the 15-minute open. So, what I need to do is reduce my risk down or excuse me, no, let it come to me. And if it can come above that New York Open or touch it, I'll most likely take an order there. Now the CFD position I already have the risk placed, so it's pretty good. So I also sometimes I hesitate and I don't want to take myself out of the move. So I could always reduce down and play. So because I know I'm in the right location, I feel like today, um, to take this trade. So now it's just going to come down to let's see how this 5 minute closes. But as you can see on the breakdown here, if I was buying this market, how I would be looking at it, okay? As prices, pushing down back into my areas, that's when I want to be entering. So just continue to watch here, see if it can just spike above. Oh, so based on where we're at, we would reduce that risk down a little bit. Now price is already pushing, so I'm not gonna, like I said, I've already got the order above New York Open on another account, so I'm not gonna really try to force myself. But now what I'm doing, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where my mind goes to this candle here, right? Because it's still above New York Open. It's that force out candle inside this area. And so now every time prices come up and touch, right? That area like 497s, that was the area to get in and put your risk here, potentially, right? So if I just like to personally wait for that open price theory. So like when it was coming here, 841, that's when I've got to be entering above New York Open, putting my stop here, which is fine. It's fine. I'm not upset. Like I said, I have it on CFD just so you guys can understand. It's the same stuff over here on CFD. There's really no difference. And now you're starting to see those breakdowns of the other prices. So took the trade right there, basically 404. Looking to partial out most of the move at basically 304s and see if we go lower there. Now, kind of what I'm looking at so you guys have an idea of the overall markets is we're getting bearishness engulfing on that ES trade, and we're getting nothing but bearishness here going for the lows of the day. So very interesting price. You have YM screaming up, and it's already took the high of day, and then you have these two, which have not taken the high of day and are still showing either they're going to go lower or possible absorption. Okay. So where my eyes want to be focused, like I said, is going to be on this 5 minute because 5 minutes showing me that if I was buying this would be great. But as of right now, I don't want to take the trade unless I'm in the distribution. So you want to identify the 4 different phases. And currently, to me, of the day, right, this is a distro, right? Until, especially if we break this 5 minute down candle. All right. So ever since that moment, if your order is inside of that area, I believe you're good, right? To either be managing risk or to, you're followed the rules. So even if it gets knocked out because price decides to go higher, it's okay. Now, what I like to focus on when it comes to risk reward is when you're at a 1 to 2 R on the trade, you can either start partialing down or reducing your risk down. So it's up to you. But as of right now, what I'm seeing is this could be distribution for the day, but we still have yet to break the 5 minute candle going down. So that's also the focus here with the understanding. And so you can see if you would have took those orders below that New York Open, how susceptible you would be to risk more at this point, right? And prices going higher. And like I said, that 1 hour tap and 15 minute inefficiency fill, that expansion looks pretty good. I mean, so we'll see if that ends up being distribution or if this ends up being just a level of where they're faking people out. So the other thing you want to focus on here is going to be this. All right. So now price looks like it wants to go back above that New York Open and give me a favorable R&R here. All right. So like I would want to use like 1750. Which I don't like that number. So 17, oh, it's 17, 17, 517. And take profits would be 350s. So like I said, price could be failing this area, which is fine. I'm not going to chase it today on here, but I do like how the cells are starting to rock right to the downside since that area. So, you could be entering here, putting your stop here if you like. I like to just be patient here. But if you can take a look at that 15-minute last up candle, how it's rejecting the open of that candle, that's really good. Now, looking over at ES, looking bearish. YM hit that 30-80 level and got bearish as well. And then let me look at these 4 hours here. These 4 hours aren't looking as if they want to close above those levels to go higher right now. So we'll see what happens. But price is definitely holding this 5-minute area though, right? With that inside of that accumulation on a bigger time frame. So it's just they're manipulating here, I feel like 100%. But looking at this 5-minute close in 40 some seconds, my bad. So yeah, looking at this 5-minute close, I think they're gonna push it lower. Looks really good still. Because 15-minute here, we already had one 15-minute lower open, lower close, and now this next, basically at 45 going into 9 a.m. we're pushing lower. So really good pricing here. Like I said, I'm not in the futures market, unfortunately, but pretty happy to be over in that CFD position still as well. So still holding that 5-minute area, right? So we want to see a violent close on the 5-minute candle here, and this 15-minute candle, and this 1 hour candle to start breaking down from the 17,500 level here. Because if not, like I said, they're still holding and they could still go higher, right? They're just going below monthly open on ES, 50-50, which has been a really, really hot level. And then when you look at the 1 hours on all three at the same time, you're coming into the last down candle. You're inside ES's down candle. And then YM has already made that flush and then push. So it's just like the flush, and they could just hold that high of day, or they're getting ready to come down and absorb orders to push higher. But we have been pretty bearish, and this is before news. So this could be, a tank off to just, destroy a lot of buyers here really quickly. And then to buy up in PM session or whenever he starts talking today. So, missing this move here, a little salty when it comes to futures, but overall reading the market, I feel good and I'm confident in what we're seeing. So that's what really matters to me. And then looking at those 1 hours, they're really pushing down here on futures. So I really like the CFD position for sure. See if they can rally out, and I'll be partial in that move in the 325s. So really, really good setup, I think personally. Really, really, really good setup. If you go back and you really study some of this reporting, when you watch the lower low be created, we have plenty of time to wait for that New York to come back up. Now the question will be what will happen here at monthly open on all the assets, right? So that 1 hour close is, got people, they can see the market selling on the 1 hours, right? They can see this, especially on small time frames. So they're just pressing sell, pressing sell. But the real question is, like I said, is this a bigger absorption when you look at all three here getting ready to close in about 2 minutes? Or is this really the sell off that, before the news? So for me on the CFD position, I will say here, right, having that position basically locked up here. When we cross, if we can, right, if we can break this internal liquidity on this time frame here, and this doesn't turn into a mitigation right here. My goal, based off technicals, is to partial half of my move, securing about $200 to $300 on that trade on that account, and then moving my risk to break even. That's how I trade. So as of right now, the trade is already risk off. So it's just now it's all about getting the partial. Okay, so let me focus here. This can move because we don't really need to focus on that. And now where our focus really has moved is going to be right here inside this candle and what happens on smaller time frames at this monthly open. All right, so I'd really like price to slip that 17,450 area, that psychological number. All right, but it could definitely hold this area as well. So let me make sure I partial a little bit. I just partialed a little bit of my other positions so that, why not? Look how it's playing off this 5 minute. Look at the swing of the move, right? From this low to here. All right, pretty good retracement into that. So, and tapping the monthly open perfectly. So, and we're still failing to basically, on a 15-minute really break structure and show any signs of weakness with the high of day still open. So, definitely just want to identify that liquidity here really quick. Range high. So that's today's high, right? So it's really up to them what they want to do. But I'm gonna take a look over here at the other two. 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, all those aren't really showing me any signs other than how we close right here. So if this can absorb really quickly, we'll see here. So when the price is pushing fast, right? So let me write this down at 9 here. So fast pushes down, we know, right? Our focus is here inside this internal range, this last down candle after the push up. We want to read the price action inside this area, understand what you have below you, right? This inefficiency here. But they hold this area. This is kind of like that last absorption, another, not last, but one of those other absorption areas you can anticipate, something like this to happen below monthly open. So I reduced my risk on the CFD position, and I have pretty much risk off on there, about like 5 points of risk. And looking at the other two, YM's still just been bullish. So we'll just kind of see what they do. And so this was the 5 minute area before, but this is the 5 minute area that we're looking at now, right? Which is going into, I can look at the end of this, I guess. Some of the settings. So basically just wanted to see this to the end of the day at 1700, right? And so for me, what it's going to come down to again is how this 5 minute closes inside this area. If they start to kind of hold in this area, this might actually go higher. And so I might have missed my buy too on futures here. But let's see what this price looks like. The low is 17,440. I'd want to buy below monthly open with my risk at the low of 17,440. So I can get like 17,460 possibly. But price is kind of already taken off there. And I'm just not sold yet. They're gonna go higher. So we did have that 15-minute lower low created in that internal range on ES. That sign of weakness is still a lot stronger. So I am gonna frame up something because I've already got that other position pretty much locked. Looking for a stop loss of no more than 17,440s. Take profit is going to be the 500s, 550s. Okay. So the way that that's pushing down, now I want to be buying it when the market's crashing, and I want to be buying in those points of interest areas. But like I said, the key to this as well is we haven't had any signs of strength. I think we're in that absorption area. So let's see if we can grab this. Let's see what this will look like here. So see how this 5-minute closes. Otherwise, we've got lower low, lower high, and we've already pushed another lower low. Looks like that. So 5-minute, not really showing any signs there at that 17. I believe it should be 17,450. Hold on. I think I might have moved it on accident. So there's 17,450 right there. So we're making lower lows, lower highs, and more lower lows. So that 5-minute close isn't really showing me that they're gonna hold that level. Unless we started to get some kind of response above the 450 level. Otherwise, those shorts on CFD are looking really good. But let's see if we can work here. I like where ES is right now on the 15-minute at that 50.46 inside that last down candle as well. So I mean that looks really good with the risk of like 50.42. I like this price, guys. I really do for the day. But I like to play, I want to play that 5-minute area as well. It's 905, so 905 going into 910. And so I want to make sure that I'm playing on the inside of pullback areas here. 440 and a quarter. All right, so I want to make sure I'm exact here. And then right now my risk is at that my risk that I like, so I want to be buying when the price pushes back down. If we can here, push right back below the open. I like that. Kind of tap it super fast. So if I miss, I miss, but I want this area, I really do. Damn, I might have missed it right there. Just be patient here. Anything below 462 is pretty much I would like to attempt. Yeah, if they can push below 462, I would definitely like to take one. Now looking at ES, it is kind of, respecting that 50-50 level. So we'll see what we get here. So I want to get right there in that opening of that candle. So hopefully they give me right there. Good. Okay. So right below monthly open, stop loss at 440s, entries at 60. So about a 19-point risk. So that fits our game perfectly. The location of the trade looks really good from a 15-minute perspective, up to like a 1-hour perspective as well. And so now what I can anticipate, because I want to move this to here if this trade can actually work out. for today. All right, and then I want to do, oops, I want to do a 15 here, sorry. So now I do think it's in the right area. When you look at it, it could have been maybe a little bit better of a 5-minute entry, but it does go in alignment with that 15. And I do like the stop loss placement. Now these are relatively equal lows when it comes to this area, so they could come a little bit lower first. So it just is what it is. But I do like the area and just the execution of it if it can work out potentially. And then I like how ES, I just want to show this really quick, how ES intraday is basically at the same time, right? Very key. At the same time hitting that special candle that we look for. Right. So that could be an area where they go take the high of day now, potentially. We'll see. Okay, so go back to over here so we can kind of see the order, see where it's at. So that order might be a little high. You know, it is what it is. It could be a little high, like I was saying here on the 5, but we'll let this 5-minute close. Like I said, if they reach down for the 420 levels, then I will most likely play that level. But I like where this is at on like a 1 hour if it can hold 17,450s here. But doesn't look as great. So could reach, like I said, down just a little bit more. So they did reach a little bit more, which is fine. So still holding the shorts on CFD. And so like I said, if they want to hold this level, you know, we're gonna be able to see at the very low of the day here. And that's where I'll take my last future trade. But right now we're down for the day, which is fine. Not a big deal. Okay. So let's focus here. So now that this candle has been broken, I do want to make it clear like this is our focus area on the 5-minute right now. All right, I want to see them slip that liquidity. I mean, so now this would be the best part of the day, and it's in alignment with the 20 level, right? So 425 with a risk of 412 potentially could be a really good area to run out the highs because everyone thinks now it's going to sell off, which, you know, for my CFD position, I hope so too. You know, you're getting the break of structure that you want to see. You're getting that lower low on 15. You're getting that lower low on 5, and 1 minute is just very bearish. So this will be the area you'll look for that transitional type of play. And then we want to move this down to here for right now to kind of recognize that 15-minute area that we want to focus on here. 425s. All right. Now, when you're looking at the other two, you're not really seeing anything except possible absorption. So I'm gonna have to take this phone call, but I will still just take a trade and I'll kind of map up as much as I can. Okay, so I'm back. Like I said, I am looking at this area here. I do have those shorts on CFD still rocking, but I do want to watch that 17,425 level and already know that risk down to 412s, right? 10 point down would be, or 10 points up would be 22. So, if I can get in this area and it can work out, great. And like I said with ES, I just think that 15-minute and that 1 hour look like they are just absorbing orders possibly to potentially end up going higher. All right. I could be wrong, but this is the area of confluence to see. So let's see what type of reaction we get right here. I would like it to go even less than 10 points. I could reduce that risk down even more. But they may want that 17,400 level, so I don't want to just force my way into it. So 15-minute closes in 2 minutes. So I like how that price looks. So we shall see. Now, if I just missed that one too, then like I said, I just missed, unfortunately. Got very close to right where I wanted, trying to be a little precise there, I would say. But I like how ES really played off that 15-minute area really nice. So if I buy this, my stop loss would actually change to 25 and 2/4 at this point. So let's see if they can come back down on that 5-minute, basically play the open there, 448. So good price, good rejection from that level, 15-minute close. So see if that 5-minute can press down, like I said, below. Okay, that was from when I got clapped. But this area, if this can basically come back down a little bit more, 448s and lower, I would attempt this area. But they're making it a little difficult, and you are seeing that 50-50 hold on ES. So right, so I'd like it to come into the 5-minute candle like that more. And I could take one right in the open of that candle. Because if I'm wrong and I put my risk here, so be it. Um, for me, 425s, basically 448, so 38s, 28s. So yeah, like this area I would want to basically play out based off what we see, and then I'm attacking shorts, point of interest, monthly open, London open, New York open, and then high of day. And then there's lots of liquidity, I believe, at the 17,555 area. So if this can work out, then great. And that's where I'd be looking to take it. And I'm going to move this actually up to like right here, because if price can get really violent here, then that would be great. Now, if I lose this trade, I'll be done futures, but I think this could be a good one potentially based off where ES and stuff is as well. So, and I have trailed my risk on CFD to break even at this point right now. So just in case that one comes back and this one ends up being the one, right? Then this works out for me today. And how I look at this from like a 1 hour perspective, I like to know the location on that 1 hour too. So that location is good. I mean, at that 50% of that candle, my stop loss could be better. It could be the low of the market, but it's based on where the market actually is right now. And so we'll see if this can play out. I do like the 5-minute price. Now it just comes down to technicals. If it technically, right, can go and push back up into London Open, then great. And if it falls off of a cliff and just goes and slips my liquidity here, right, and then it would be a wrap, and maybe they still hold it in this area, but based on the 5 minute when it closed higher like this, I wouldn't want to see this go lower than 17,450 anymore if we're gonna actually go higher. So we'll just continue to watch here. But so looks good. We'll see. 5 minute price is pretty good. Like I said, final TP, we're looking at like the 650s possibly. So 450 up. Let's just go ahead and map out our 100 points, where that would be, which would be 17, 550. So 17, 550 would be a pretty good day with the loss, right? Because we do have to factor in that loss. And ES is not showing me the strength that I personally would want to see for this to work out right now. So, I mean, the 1 hours looks like absorption to me at that 50-50 level. And then at 17,450 here with NQ, but 5 minute price action, if we don't get back above monthly open here, I'd say by like 9:30, they might topple. So just watching the price, it looks really good here. You know, if the location would have been under that blue line, like you see right here in this middle screen, and would have been played off the actual 5 minute swing, I probably dropped two contracts to be honest. But because I was a little late to the party, then I'm having to be a little bit more risk averse here. Because like I said, this slips here again, then I probably won't take any more trades today. I wouldn't take any more like FOMC trades or anything like that. I would just hold those shorts on CFD. And like I said, it still looks like kind of like they're absorbing on that 1 hour. So just gonna see. But they are, printing a little bit below or trying to below 50-50 on ES. So with them showing that weakness there, it's not as good. But the price isn't looking too good there. That 14 or 17,450s. We'll see how this 5 minute closes. We can stay above that 17,440s, like right above where we're at now. I would say we have a chance, but I mean, it's just we got to see how they want to print. So a little bit more perspective right here, right? That 15, knowing where that the high of day is, and that's like an M pattern right there. So just having where my focus is. Now, like I said, could be wrong. They could just topple over on this market. And that New York entry could hold, it could hold strong. Like we'll have an idea here sooner than later. Yeah, I do like at least the entry and location. So getting even to 17, 518s. So, over 50, about 80 points, right? Because getting the 500 would be 50 points and then another 20. So about 70, somewhere in there, 75 points. Just crushing the highs would be really nice. And like I said, if I had two contracts on, I would just pull a contract there and go risk off on the rest. So I would want to see all the shorts from 17.5 just get erased fast if they're going to do it. Because if they're not going to do it fast, then um, those people would have time to cover their positions. But the way it looks on the 5, um, it does look like if we can print above this 17,450 here and start creating that 1 minute price action, that bullish, I think we could attack all this very quickly. But it also comes down to how we're going to react and close here on ES. YM looks pretty strong though, so they might be looking to sweep the lows of the day first before they take off, which is very possible. ES kind of breaking lower than 50-50, so I don't know if that's absorption at the lows or if that's getting ready to just, like I said, take off to the downside. So this 5 minute close, let's see if it closes above or below the half level. Then we have a 15-minute close in 5 minutes for the 9:30, so this will be from 9:25 to 9:30. That closed right below the 17,450, kind of showing signs of weakness. So unless it rallies right here, then they're going to push the lows. I like the price action right now. And so, like I said, today I started the day um, with a loss. So I would need to do uh, just around $1,200 to $1,500 to pretty much let that loss go and have a complete green day. So we'll see if it can work out or if it's just going to topple over here. So we are at monthly open, kind of like fighting that area, that 17,460 area. And then on ES as well, kind of bring that over here really quick. Basically just trying to see if this is just absorbing on that 15, right? We filled the imbalance, took out a lot of traders. Price rallied on ES, came back, and then I think that this level, if it can hold and start getting 5 and 15-minute prints above 50-50, that price could take off. All right, so that looks good. And like I said, I'm just using this to see the price, but I'm honestly only trading on the 50 and 5. So pretty good right there. Now the cool thing about CFD is I have that short locked off break even, pretty good short up there, and I bought it. Right, you can do that on CFD. So that's the cool thing about that and having that understanding, right? So I do still like having that advantage. Now there's a couple things when I look back at my DRC today, even my New York recap, could have played this a little better. You know, if this ends up working out, I still could have played it a little better, but I like the idea of what's going on potentially if this can work out. And ES is really responding in that area perfectly, right? So kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at. You know, you have ES and you have NQ now finally, you know, on the pullback move to rally up. Could have played lower here. I actually could see ES a lot better today. And then YM's already taking off. So asset correlation is, you know, somewhat in our favor right now. And I like how we're looking on this trade. So CFD, the reason why I bought it is because I think that over time we'll come back to the 800s, right? So if that works out too, and there's shorts were at the low of the range, and that's okay. You know, that's how I look at it, kind of. So we would need to see closures. I would say 5 minute above monthly open, and then them attack the New York fairly quickly. Otherwise, it's just a fast pump. But the good thing I can say today is there wasn't a lower low created here on the 15.5. So this was like a lower low, right? After doing this fast push, I would be like, you know, but because this is higher low and it's holding that 17,450 level, I think they could possibly come for those shorts that are sitting up there at the highs, at the low of the range. Could be wrong the way this is looking. So really not trying to focus too much on here, like I said, because they manipulate so bad. I'm just really trying to focus on these 5 minute opens that have strength. All right. And reading what happens there and how they close. So about 39 seconds, if this opens and closes higher, great. It's bullish, right? Yeah, so I like the price action for this entry. Could have been better still. Like I said, if we can pop these tops on the market here on futures, I'll probably be out of here with a green day potentially. We did get that 5 minute close there at 9:30 of a strength, so now it's in that 15 minute close. So it's like if they could topple over right here, and hit that lower, you know, 425 level, or they'll continue to rally and just take off those shorts. Now, ES did close really good on 15 above 50.50, so I could see them definitely going for that high of day potentially, which would be like that 50.68 level. So let's see if we can get this. Okay, so remember like I said, I just want to put this in perspective where we're trying to get to. At minimum, you know, we have the entry at 450s, getting up to 550 would be an amazing day. Um, and so I'll start trailing my risk at that point if we can make it there. But I really like how the 1 hour looks and the absorption that's happened inside the 15 minute candle. If this can really break out of this range and start to run, it would be pretty amazing, honestly. But candle closures will be everything. You know, just price just kind of pumping does nothing, right? Because it could literally just erase everything in a few minutes. So candle closure is going to be the key. and how we react and print. So so the Fed fund rate is at 1. So yeah, this would be my last trade. So if we can pump before Fed's fund rate here above 518s, 520 levels, me personally, I will um, most likely be out of the markets on futures, and I'll swing my CFD positions. Now, if I didn't have that loss, and this is my first trade to incur, then I would just trail the risk. If it was a 1 contract trade, and if it was a 2 contract trade above that today's high, I would partial out 1 contract as soon as it breaks those highs, and trail my risk on the remaining contract. But we're having a little bit of trouble here. Just a little bit. So trying to keep, like I said, our focus mostly here on this 5 minute and 15 and 1 hour, and not to get faked out on small time frames. And now ES is still holding 50-50, so that's a good sign. And those 1 hours across the board, YM's really strong above 38 whole level. And I think that we're inside of accumulation on NQ and ES potentially on 1 hour time frames. Really, really good 15 and 5 minute price to me personally, right? And so, I really do like this area. Like I said, getting up to that next 50 level would be about a $2,000 profit off 1 contract. With that loss, I have to look. It was either 300 or $400. It was like 18-point risk times $20 a point. So every 10 would be 200. So it's close to between 350 and 400. So let's say if I hit 2,000 minus that 300, that'd be like 1918. It'd still be a $1,700 day, which our goal is to stick around 1,500 to that $1,800 range, because our average risk is usually $400 to $600. We always want to be making 3 times that number. Now today is, one of my better days that this plays out. I can already feel it. Um, and I kind of hesitated in certain areas, but I did wait for confirmations here, which actually worked out, and I had a really good stop loss placement, I believe. Um, Now I could have maybe played the 15-minute candle trade, but I would like to wait for that sign of that fear, like that, basically that move, that push, and then the pull back to the area to kind of confirm that this area could possibly lock and go, right? And so looking at the other two here on a little bit smaller time frame, let me check. Those 1 hours just look really good. So I do want to show that really quick just for the stream purposes here. Right, and just kind of show you guys what I'm seeing here on NQ and ES, right? I feel like absorption, accumulation, right? So like when we talk about how we look at the markets from 4 phases, for me, if this can work out, I feel like this was an accumulation phase, right? When you look at how price is basically oversold to me in a sense, right? One of those, that's the Wyckoff as well. Price is oversold. So to me, this is like price accumulating. Now, I'm not saying it's going to run up and go crazy high, but I think it could at least break out of today's high range, and then we could be in a profit for the day, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Accumulation markup means higher highs and higher lows, and then eventually price gets to a level where it needs to distribute, right? And so same thing with here. And then if you look at it, they had already broke out of the area, and then 38 whole level was solidly holding for YM. So YM was kind of like leading the pack. I'm just gonna mark it with this. I'll change the color later. We're not out of the woods yet. I mean, we may get there, we may not. But with that closing like that, that's kind of what I was seeing. And then now we're back to here. And so now what we want to see is this 15-minute candle close stronger. You don't want to see point of interest on a 15.5 be respected. because if price wanted to sell off, you're thinking like the composite thinker, you have today's high, which would be like right here, and then you have the low of the day, right? So price coming back above point of interest, in a bearish market, it could come back down. But for me personally today, I would like to see them just go pop today's highs. So now when it comes down to a 5 minute in technicals, from our entry we had higher high, higher low, and now we pushed. And once we cross that first area, I would like to, potentially go risk off, or potentially once we, like I said, once we pop these stops at the 520s, I would really either be out of the market or like I'll trail that risk up to secure the bag. So I can be patient here today because I think that this, if it's slow, it'll grow, and I think that this move will grow into the news release. All right. So I do have this on CFD as well. I have my shorts that I took break even. So if those get knocked out, they get knocked out. All right. Not a big deal. So I really like the 1 hour price, and just that whole bias going into this morning was really to do this, to get this type of move here today. So definitely already some things to work on though, like I said, which are gonna be, obviously sizing of this trade and location. Location could have been better on 15 and 5 lined up. Still like what I ended up taking and how I positioned the risk, but there could have been better. And we haven't broke through this yet, so we got to break through point of interest first. I just got to think, where people who sold, London or New York opens, especially New York opens, their stop losses are tight here, right? So if it's gonna push it, I would think they do it kind of fast. And if it's not gonna work out, then they're gonna come down pretty fast. Now the stop loss for those shorts on that CFD, just because you can basically play both sides of the market in that situation. The stop loss on that is like right here, right? Because I got my entry pretty much right at that whole level, like right above it, and then I have my stop loss here. So I just have moved it down to like the top of this wick. But the move that I want to personally work, obviously, is the futures move, because I want to see it actually push through those highs. But don't like how that price looks right now for, going into like a news release today. You kind of want to see it stay in your favor here on 15-minute strength. So we got about 3 minutes before this candle closes. I really wouldn't focus too much on here unless they just really start destroying the structure. And then at the 5 minute candles that you have, your last push-up candle, start getting closed under. Because if they start doing that, you can protect the position that you have here. So I'm really focused on this candle right here. And if prices start to close below that open, then this position starts to get a little bit more, not as great. But we'll see how this 15-minute closes in 3 minutes. If it can close, very bullish and strong and like an expansion, then I could definitely think that they'll come for this. And then this wick, like I said, the reason I take profit is in this area is because I think that there's a lot of liquidity inside of this inefficiency. So now, if my entry was a little lower where my stop actually is, to be honest, this trade wouldn't be pushing me, I guess you could say, in a certain feeling, right? But where it is now, I have to either accept the risk or I have to trail my risk, into the lows of this market here, to secure, you know what I mean? So based on where I'm at for this on this account and where I'm at for the week, I mean, I'm fine. I'm gonna probably accept the risk here of one contract. So 420. Let me see where my entry is. So 38.28. So that'd be 2.4 plus the other. So yeah, that'd be fine for the day. But that would be it, you know. So it's like just got to be patient here and see what they do. See how the 15-minute closes here in about 2 minutes. But that 5 minute, I already know if it goes lower than that candle and closes. One candle is fine, and we get a reaction that starts to continue up. Cool. But if one candle closes, then you start seeing more bearishness out of like 1 minute and stuff too. This area might fail because they're pumping it, if that makes sense, right, back into that same area. But then eventually, like I'm a better buyer than seller. But then eventually what they could be doing is like actually pushing away from New York Open. But I just think all the stop losses are at the highs, but I could be wrong. Let me check the prices over here. So confirmation wise on candles looks good. I mean, that looks, you're bouncing off the monthly open. I mean, that's the extension up when it comes to technicals, like I said on a line graph, to me more than likely an oversold market to extend up at least to the 550s. So really good price. So we're pushing now, pretty good. I really like how the price is pushing here. Really good, like I said, accumulation, 1 hour 15. We can just run past point of interest now, New York Open. Now at this point, with my risk 2.4, yeah, 2.4, I'm at about a 1 to 2 R. So you could be risk off if you like right here. Me personally, what I like to do is wait for this 15 5 minute to break structure technically, right? Like literally like close higher, or just swipe that area, right, with wicks, and then I would secure the trade. So today with the loss though, we'll see. And it could get tricky right here in this area and sell off from the 17.5 area. But like I said, we'll see, we'll have to just see. I'm managing a couple of positions here. But the 17,500 level is very key with that New York Open right now. So nothing to me on a small time frame, right? To be, I'm not looking at as much, but nothing to me is really showing me that they want to break down right now, which could change any second on a small time frame. So I just want to continue to watch and see if that continues to make like an uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then I'm watching candle closures on 5, right? And ever since that candle closure push here, you want to see this next open and close either, I would say, above New York Open and above the whole level if it's going to go higher. But we shall see. So really just watching the 5 minute closures. So I like how price action's pushing right now. It looks good. Check these other positions up here. Nice, nice. I like it. So I like how that 1 hour is really starting to look. I want to just show it here. And then also I want to show I'll show ES right here as well. I don't want to, so that 1 hour, you see how the oversold overbought situation, right? So then you have ES, right? And ES looks really good from that 1 hour, right? Fill. And then when you look at the 15, it looks really good, right? Playing that 50-50 level going to the high of day. So pretty inflow today, possibly, if we can get these, I think. Now they may make it tricky trying to break the 17.5 and trying to go push the high of day. They may not do it because it's a news day and they'll keep price suppressed inside of like this consolidation range, right? Which I've played this enough to kind of understand that as well. So that's why on the futures market today, like inside of here, to me, this is consolidation, right? Going left or it's going up and down. So if we can break out of that consolidation, I want to be exiting the market because so many opinions could come in, right? And so now you're getting good 5 minute opens and closes inside the range. That this will move. Let's see. Right, you've got another strong 5 minute candle out there, a sign of weakness. So now you're just thinking, can this push on through 17.5 or is it getting ready to fail this level at the Fibonacci retracement? Because your current high of day to that little intraday low, that's kind of what it looks like right there. So it's all in alignment too that they could just fail that level. But it's usually hard for candles to lie to you, right? So like a 5 minute higher open, higher close, unless it was to break lower than this blue, then it would be very difficult for me to see it sell off very quickly. Now I can, but it's on an average, it usually just doesn't do that to where you can't, cover yourself. So just continuously watching all three 15-minute, 1 hour prices, and they look pretty good. But this could be the fake out, right? So we are pushing pretty nice. I like that. I had to go over and look, but we're coming up close to taking out my short on the other on the CFD market. So they can't break this New York Open area, then that could be the level where they hold 17.5. YM screaming right now, higher on that 1 hour. So, with ES, I really want to see them continuously going over this 50-60 level. We have to break over this 17.5 area. Otherwise, they're not going to work out. And so I don't like that rejection from this level right now, but we aren't getting any 15-minute weakness as of right now. But that 5-minute close below that level, like I was saying, it would be a little bit more less likely in that situation. So if we can just crush above, then that's great. Um, yeah, it's like I sniped them all on CFD for at least a point. It's pretty crazy to think. But 1 hour price here on futures looks good. So this level is getting a little bit, shisty to me. Um, so I'd like to see it break through, but if it's not going to, it's going to show me those signs. Like it starts to break down on this 5-minute here. It starts to close lower than that area. Then that New York and 17,500 level could be strong. All right, so we'll watch how this kind of goes into 10. I'm watching that 1 hour. I do want to see that 1 hour on all three just really close here with some strength going into 10. And then that would kind of show me that, based on the 4 hour time frame that we have, um, with those closing in about 3 hours, that we're in the right 4 hour area potentially. So that's what my goal is, to see us pop out of this range. So I would accept, like I said, 100+ point push on this as well. I like it. On that CFD position, just for the for NQ, I'm planning to swing that to like 17.7, 17.8 potentially if this can if Jerome can talk his shit today. Okay, so on this futures position, I'm kind of watching it here. We're still not getting that price I personally want to see at that with the 5 minute and the 15. We are coming into that close, so if we can close strong and this 1 hour can close relatively strong, great. But I don't want to see too much rejection away from New York Open or that 17,500 whole level, right? Because that level is starting to get very strong, and we are starting to break away from that level. So, um, 15-minute close good. 1 hour did close a strong candle, so you could anticipate like a slight bit of pullback before rallies. But me personally, like when I look at where we're actually playing, this is our low currently, and then this is our high where we're at right there. So if we start to frame back down from this intraday, like 5 minute price, which is actually right here, right? We want to evaluate this from a Fibonacci retracement. So basically, from there to there, if price was to come back into the 50% of the swing, it's most likely not going to work out, and you want to protect yourself. So like right here, I'm basically gonna have to probably end up doing that, and I'm gonna position that risk like right in there. Basically, if it was to come all the way back down and come back into this area, I'd be like, you know. So with ES, those 4 hours, I'm looking for those 4 hours uh, to basically in these next 2 hours to continue up, and these 1 hours to continue to gain strength and get out of this little consolidation type area, because that's what we're basically sitting in right now. So. Mhm. So I like my risk placement for right now. If I would have entered that 15-minute position, my risk would be at this low anyway, right? So like for this to play out would be great. So everything looks still kind of holding, but when you look at the price action, you actually pay attention to candle closures. You do want to pay attention in a 5 minute when it actually closed lower. Now, this one candle is not going to matter, but you do want to have that understanding of what's going on there potentially. Okay, they could be breaking this down from the 17.5, and they may want a better area uh, come towards um, come towards the news. Okay, so I want to really focus here between now and 10:15 on this 15-minute open and this 15-minute close, because if this candle doesn't remain bullish going into 10:15, then it may pull down 10:15, basically from 10 to 10:15, and 10:15 to 10:30 it might rally up, right? So I want to be focused on what I'm seeing here. I don't like how that 5-minute price is starting to print. Um, between from 10 to 10:15, that's not the price that I like to see, because they could definitely come down and slip it. So, like I said, I showed you guys that 50%, so 17,470. That's when I would probably go ahead and taper this thing off just to be safe. But I do think that that risk could be safe down there, but I'm just not for sure. So what time is it? 10:03. It's 5-minute close. Yeah, I've got to protect this position. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, really. It's a little 4-point risk there. Now, if that's too close inside the range, maybe I would take another, but I'd rather play the game of risk than do anything. So with us, 17,448 entry, stop loss at 444. Either this is going to work out or it won't. Looking at ES, that 15 and 1 hour, like I said, you can anticipate a slight pullback inside of the accumulation to then get candles to rally. So I do think that based off ES that it could work out, but I just have to understand that how you do something, how you do everything, and you need to maneuver a certain way, right? I already have experienced a loss on the day, so I need to make sure and reduce the risk down for the day and keep my focus on getting above today's high. So. So don't like that price, like I said, how that looks. ES looks really good. But this 15.5 here is not the type of price you want to see. I mean, coming back into the stack candle is good. Having your risk at this low. So if your entry was down here and your risk was stop loss break even, that would be great. But being inside of here isn't the greatest area, to be real. So if we can get between now and 10:15 some signs of bulls coming into the market going into like 10:30, that would be good. But right now, where my focus is going to be pretty much this area holding on the 15. Any prices closing below that with the end of the day right here, I would be like, this 15 really isn't as bullish as what we think. So that's kind of where my eyes are focused right now. And then, like I said, looking at ES, I just don't see why they wouldn't pop the 50 68, but I can see why they wouldn't too by getting to the high of the day and then failing at New York Open. So we shall see. So that price doesn't look good, to be honest. Okay. So that price is pushing fast, and now ES is failing that London Open as well. Okay, so what maybe they're wanting to do is come back below daily open, aka monthly open for right now, of May, and then kind of like absorb more orders in this area. So, me personally, with this type of risk, I would like my risk to be down here. But if I have to re-enter, then so be it. So really want to see how they get right here in the 50% of the last down candle here. Now if they punch out down to these lows, then I just wouldn't expect them to hold this accumulation. It'll just topple over possibly. So let me see here. Take what they can give me on this one. So price it out over there, and then holding this here. So if that price doesn't hold and they start to fail this area, then it's understandable. So as soon as that 5 minute broke, probably could have trailed that risk up like I did, which is fine. Um, but I just don't see them running this up right now. So the location of the trade could be better. That's all it is. I mean, they might slip below to the 444s, but this candle's low is key to me to this swing. All right. So like where I got in, pretty much that area, if it goes below these equal lows and fills that area, then so be it. But if they don't, then my eyes are pretty much focused on this area right here. Sorry. This area right here, but looks like they're coming for that low. Now, if my stop loss was at this low, it'd be better, but I'll accept that type of risk. I think they just hit it. So where they're at in this area, like I said, they could be reaching. And I wanted my stop to be here. So if this ends up rallying, then so. And so ES failed that London Open too, that point of interest. So we shall see. Going into 10-15 here, I wonder if they just absorb those orders. So stop loss 425.50 would be the area I'm looking for. Take profits 425.50. 425.50 would be the lows, right? So basically what I'm trying to do is see how it's going to close here, and see if it's going to actually hold this level right here. Because if it does, then it just goes up, and that's fine. That would be something I would be looking for. Moving the risk on what I have left on CFD. And like I said, I do like that price. So let's see what time it is. So I like this here. Let's see here. 5 minute really isn't showing me enough. I'd like to see it rally and come back. So I like that area. ES isn't really showing me any strength on that 15 though. Right, it's not really showing me the strength, and I would think liquidity would be under there. So be patient here. So I want to get in here and I want to place my risk right under the 5-minute low for a small amount here. Let's see where they fill this. Okay. So from right there, 25, 35, 45. Yeah, I need it here for this to make sense to me. Now this may be a little bit up in the area, but essentially I wanted a better location on the first part of the trade. So if this doesn't work out, it's fine. And then this I would say this location of this stop loss could be down here. The stretch is kind of crazy. So wanting to see if this area was still just gonna hold. Let me watch it here. Okay. So if price can rally fairly quickly, then that's going to be obviously our signs. If we can start getting back above points of interest, but if we continue to just kind of fail this area, the price won't work out. And then ES is still above 50-50, right? So it's above that half level. So what I'm anticipating is that maybe they could hold this 50-50 level. Maybe they don't. So 47 and then 37 would be a little bit lower. So what would this be? 37. So accept a 20-point risk in total. Don't want it that close. So they may search more in that area. It's just more, I feel like they're just really wanting this area, but they're make it to where you have to get your order in a specific area. So this would be like my last attempt to see on the futures account today, just because kind of hesitated on that first one and I could have took profit a little bit better, but now looking at ES, we're still holding that 50-50 level. So I'm wanting to see if they're going to take a little bounce here, possibly on this level. But holding my wrist to 425s would be too far. So 38s to 28s. Yeah, because my entry is 57s. So if they stop this out, then that just is what it is for the day. But yeah, so it'll be about 6. So I really just don't like the placement of this, to be honest, unfortunately. So no really clear signs here. No 5-minute sign for sure. So I really would like my risk to be at that low. But that might be where a lot of liquidity just is, unfortunately. So that is for today. So that's going to be it for that one. And like I said, we're in this consolidation, and ever since that New York Open tap, I don't think that we are going to go any higher unless we just literally rip this liquidity right here. So let me check this really quick here. Okay. So they're slipping right below to the low of the day. And I'm going to be kind of salty if this is exactly where they come to and hit this level and then rally. So let me check my numbers for today. Okay. Make sure and have a frame up here. I'm going to wait and see if they're going to slip the lows, hit the whole level 17.4. What they're going to do. And then that would be 17.3 on the other one. So ES is failing quite a bit from that 58 level. And it looks like we may go for the whole level lows here. So I'm going to kind of just be patient here. Now we are right in the right area. taking out traders, right? But now from that higher time frame perspective, it doesn't look as great. So this is pretty much expected, I would say, before the news, with that consolidation price. Price did reach up and give us an expected value. And then this is like kind of the key, I would say, is paying yourself at point of interest. So I can't enter these trades without personally having at least two contracts. So sometimes we might have to size down to micro just so I can open up multiple contracts and manage the trade at that level. So because you don't want to have any fear as you're going into this marketplace. So this is the last level. I'm kind of want to see them rip and then touch that 17.4 and then see if that's that's going to be the move of the day of them taking everyone out. Um, so I do actually like them to do that potentially. And then looking at the 4 hour here really quickly, um, we've gotten that failure of 17,500 level and then the dailies. Uh, we did slip that liquidity. We made a new low, 17,412 flat. Okay, so now if you look at those dailies, we're basically failing that last down candle in that 4 hour swing. And we could possibly make our ways down to 17,350, 17,300, but we're still inside that 4 hour range at a 20 level. So I'm going to stay locked in here. $412.25. Okay, so just kind of watching this area here. Take profits are going to be obviously, we'll just make this right now. Okay, so focused on this area, like I said, the same area. I'm wanting to see how the 5 minutes can react. Because we did take that low. We have a low of the day, so watching it pretty tight here. Now on CFD, they're showing those as equal lows. So maybe, like I said, we'll wait. I'm not like locked in on anything yet. We'll wait for them to swipe this low, and potentially we can add in an order there. But it's really interesting to see Dow's 4 hours still looking so strong. So if it pushes out of that 1 minute area and then pulls back, then like inside this area here, I would say the 425s, I'd probably buy an order. Sitting here on the CFB. Okay, so watching the CFD, watching this candle close here. 5 minutes starting to look good. Looks like a good liquidity grab on that 15. And then looking at all three, it looks pretty good. So any little pullbacks here, I'm going to use that 412.25 for a risk placement. So I kind of hesitated again, but I want 50% of this candle here. I'd like for it to go back below that green line, which I don't think that's going to happen. So I'll take the 50% of the candle. Now the difference is that risk is going to be 540, which I wasn't anticipating that to be so much. But what I can do is, like I said, at this point right here, it's either, one, I can't hesitate here. So I need to mark this really quick on this one. Is that when it's inside that 1 minute accumulation, inside the 20 level, there's no miss. But I still think we still have a really good spot here. The low of the day not being broken, and then how they're printing the candles. But you can just see the difference in 17,439 right now, and the difference in 17,423 would obviously be already a 20-point push. So it is what it is. Now, one thing I will say is I want to mark is these, right? Because this is turned into a base level, aka it could be a liquidity spot or it could be a level of support that helps us at least go pop those highs. So buyer liquidity here in this area. And then looking at ES, I mean, it looks pretty good off that same candle, 15 and 5. So and so same thing here. I think I need to focus on my sizing and location the most right now, which is fine. But overall profitability of the account, I'm fine. So, but just intraday, I need to focus on not hesitating here and probably taking less CFD positions because it's just fun to take them over there with that leverage and partial them out. But um, yeah, just focusing on that. And so this price, like I said, just could be better. It really could. You just gotta understand that 17,400 level, definitely could be hit. So let me check ES here. Check those 1 hours here really quickly. So good 5 minute open here. Let's see. ES, like I said, is still holding that 50-50 level in accumulation to me. So it's just like whatever they're gonna do there, we're gonna see. Uh, let's see. So let me see here from very impatient there, but let's see if they made me pay with that level of support. But I also like it, like I said, based off the type of price we have, the consolidation box, like it's rejecting to go lower, like outside the range again. So um, we'll see. Mm-hmm. 'So continue to watch this on 5 minute here. The difference in this trade is if we can push above monthly open again or right in here, I'm probably gonna start trailing this down. Just because, like I said, I want that positioning to be lower in the 20 levels. But CFD position, rocking, I like that one. I'll be able to pull some off of that one. So 5 minute price looks pretty good here. So if we can really push up out of this area, filling the inefficiency on CFD would be like the 15, or excuse me, the 17,560s. So, and on here is going to be where we have the 550s. So if we can still get to that level that we wanted to get to, we actually even got a better price than we had. So, um, if this 5 minute can go close higher and show that sign of strength inside this consolidation range, then I probably would protect this trade for sure, 100%. But I do like how it's pushing now and it can start finally attacking these areas, and then how it just came right at the low of the day and then turns around. That's manipulation. So, so 15-minute close, if you start seeing that as a bullish candle, I would say, you could definitely start to see, and we start to attack this last swing. So this would have been like your last swing right here, right? Because that's the line graph. So let's just say hypothetically from there to there, um, where's the fibs? Right, from there to there, if you can start printing above that 50%, price could be bullish essentially, right? So that's kind of where my mind is right now. We'll see what they end up doing though. And then let me do this for long term over here. So just gotta be patient here and put most of our focus here on this 5 minute candle. Really want to focus on the dump candle here, because if price can close above the dump candle and start showing strength above 17,450, they may go to eat, right? So that'll be cool. And we're just looking to get out of here with a green day and manage trades effectively. But like I said here, we need to see, like, price did close higher here, but if this first candle does not start showing strength, then this is going to come back lower to tap those equal lows. So, that's how it looks here. Now if you had the entry like where I usually want to get it, that'd be better. But as of right now, this is just what it is, right? But I like that right there. So over here though, I need to manage the trade a little bit. But just keep watching price action here on the 5. Hopefully a lot of volume can come in off of that support level. And then ES is just holding, consolidating that in that area. So FOMC day, what I mean? Like I said, if we can get above and start to fill this inefficiency, I will start to lock off some of this, potentially. I'm gonna taper off some of this other one, not worry about it anymore. All right, and then I'm gonna watch this one here. So, and basically what I'm saying here is I want to move this consolidation box into 15, and let's put our focus here on this 5, and end of day. All right, because end of day could come. Let's think about even FOMC, right? FOMC is going to be right in here. So if they can hold this area before, right, 17,450 is, then great. If not, then they could easily tank lower here. All right, because these are equal lows. So um, I may look to trail this risk or close this one. I'm trying to debate here what I want to do. Once I've accepted the risk, I just accept it. Usually, I don't really try to like change anything from that point. So what I'm anticipating is if this, prints up away from that whole level, or excuse me, that half level, then we may see some bullishness still come out of this thing. I'm gonna move this box too. So this is like our focus area right now. How this 5 minutes gonna print, right? And the imbalance right above it. Right? Can price reach into that imbalance? IMB, right? by 1 o'clock, which it seems like it could. But it's just those equal lows make it difficult. I never really like to do that, but and this is what happened yesterday essentially, right? They closed that 5 minute high, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe they're gonna push it higher, but you can't forget about these at all. ES still holding 50-50, YM still bullish. So interesting price action today. Okay, so that's a good push from that support level, which, like I said, will become a target, I believe, in the future. But I think that they may show some love here before the news. So this entry was down in the 23s, right? Like where I originally wanted it. Off that down candle's open here, 24. So 3, 6, or 9 numbers to like 23. You'd be up almost 30 plus points right now. And the risk would make a lot more sense. So it's just understanding the location and the positioning right now and what I'm trying to get, and understanding where liquidity is sitting. So we're back above monthly open. We're getting ready to fill the imbalance at 17,470s. And, this is where price can fail, so we'll see if they can run it up or what they're going to do. But those equal lows just do not make things any easier. And I think everybody didn't think that it would almost go lower and then buy up like this. So like that's that manipulation on that 1 hour, 4 hour absorption potentially, I think. So remember, we are consolidating honestly just between these two price levels of like 17,530s and of 17,400s. So um, you know, unless you get some solid candle closures, there's not really a lot that's going to show you like, yeah, it's for sure going to work. Equal lows look a little bit too, they just look too open. So we'll be patient and watch 15s and 5s here. So if we can pop these highs today, based on the numbers that I have today. I have to do the numbers, but we pop those highs and can get to 17,530s, 17,550s. Um, I'll be out of here with a green day, and then I'll manage, like I said, the CFD position that I took at the low of the day. This looks pretty good. Position. Okay, so I like how that price is starting to pump after failing that low of the day. So it's just like one more attempt here to get back above, 17.5. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But that's what I'm looking for as we continue to close 5-minute and 15-minute candles. So this is a good 5-minute close so far. We are tapping into that imbalance though, right? So the top of that imbalance is kind of like in this area, 17,480s. So it's like if we can just run these highs out, that would be very interesting. Because a lot of people, once it broke down, they sell right there, right? Once price starts to break and they can see it, they sell. So when price comes back up to this area, some of those people that held throughout that are going to go break even, and they could sell off and go to the lows very quickly. Or it could do it right here in this imbalance in the 5 minutes. So in a position like this, if I can get, above this point of interest, I'm going to secure myself because price could fail that area and come down and take me out. Or the likelihood if it comes up here and then starts to fall back would come for these equal lows. So I would trail that risk to probably like right here, 17,440s, and secure the potential because, like I said, this isn't the best environment with that news today coming at 1 to be trading. And then for my CFD position, as soon as it pops into that area, a point of interest, I pay myself or protect myself. So I have about $6 a point on CFD. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that position down to $3 a point, and secure the risk the same way. Okay. So another chance here when I'm up, floating 700 to $1,000+ or at point of interest that I need to secure the trade. Okay. And now ES is doing exactly what I want to see at the same time. Right here on this intraday 15 where we have those equal lows, but the price action is really good on ES. And then now you have YM still showing strength. So maybe we can get this push right into this news. And then what's really crazy is that oil is just falling off of a cliff right now from the daily. Right, we broke back below 80. We're at 79.37. So that's pretty interesting to see, oil possibly going back down to 75. So I like the push right here. All right, so price is pushing into that point of interest. You're not really seeing any sign of weakness, higher open, higher close, right? 5-minute higher open, higher close. But now as it pushes, right, where you want to start expecting shorts is on that previous swing, which is here to here, right? You want to start expecting, shorts down to those equal lows around this area, right? So for me, on this position here with futures, I want to go ahead and secure my risk to like right pretty much there, right on that 1 minute. Because if it comes down, fills that 1 minute inefficiency and takes me out, then so be it. Because I don't want to accept the risk of 17,412 from my entry, which is 17,440. That's not the real risk that I want, you know what I mean, from that position. So I'm willing to here accept 17, let's say 39. So it'd be 29.19. I could accept 19, a 20-point risk, and use the body low, right, of that 5-minute candle, right? That would be a lot better of a trade. But as you can see, if I was to position myself there, how that would look on the 1 minute, and it would probably come down and still wouldn't be as good. So for me, like I said, I would like to see this continue up, and then I'm going to continue to watch ES 15 and 1 hour as well. But if we come right back up into the same level, which I'm going to move this, and we can't, we fail to go any higher and we start to break down, I wouldn't want to lose out on the trade personally. There's just no reason to do that. But as of right now, I like what it looks like, and the 5 minutes are closing above that imbalance. So this imbalance essentially is becoming bullish until proven bearish. Right. And then, like I said, on my position over here, I have secured what I need. I have $3 a point left. And my goal in that CFD is to hold this $3-4 a point from basically the 17.3s up to 17.800s, which will be a really amazing trade. Okay, so how this is starting to print at that 71% at the 17,480, right? Personally, I don't want to see on this smaller time frame this 1 minute go lower, right? It can go a little bit lower and hold that monthly open area to like right in here. So just so you guys understand what I'm looking at, like right in here. Oh, sorry, it kind of lags sometimes. So like right in here would be okay to hold, right? If it bounces down and does something like that. But anything that starts to attack lower than that thing's gonna eat people. So I know better than that. So my target on CFD is 500 points away, and I have about $3 a point on average on that still. So not bad. So same thing here. Focus is on the 5-minute last up candle. Right. If price closes below that at that area of the swing, then price could definitely start heading towards those equal lows. If price can hold that area, this basically this 17, I'd say 470s, right? If it can hold this level, then I think we could finally reach up and take out people here. Okay, because the only thing left, I believe, in this 1 hour consolidation are the people that are short still. And it also could be the vice versa. It could be buyers holding on for dear life like myself. So, but ES looks really good. I just want to show that really quick on intraday time frame to continue its rally. So it's honestly been the cleanest of the all today, because if you're playing the way we want to play it, you haven't even really had to worry about the trade putting your stop loss at 50.42, and then price rallying. So now it's just like more of like a topple we got to be careful of here, because they're starting to see how they're starting to fail that level. So for me, I'm not going to accept any risk on that personally. What's my actual entry? Matter of fact, 39.25, 39.50. So basically at a little break even there. If that can come down, and if it comes down, takes me out, then that is what it is. I don't want to be positioned personally with the equal lows. So I remember, like I said, it could come down and hit here, but if it was to break any lower than this candle here, then that probably breaks down. And ES is still having a hard time too. So over here, let me make sure and mark this. I don't like the equal lows, guys, so I'm just making sure I'm protected on all these. And that's a really, really big push, and then it's getting ready to break structure on that 1 minute. So um, you gotta let it play out, you know. That 1 minute's getting ready to break structure, so that's not good, all right, to be honest. In an area that has equal lows. So like I said, I'll stay risk off because of the entry and where it's at. And that way it leaves me available still if I want to take another trade or something later. They're really pressing that area now. So, I mean, it just is what it is. Making sure it's securing over here on the other account as well. Just to be safe here. And so this stop loss placement is internal, is just not as good. But as we touch this 5 minute open here, it's going to come down to this 5 minute candle. Will it hold the 17,450s, or is it going to break lower really quickly? Which looks like it's going to break lower pretty quickly and just tap my area, because you can see the inefficiency here, right? And that's 50% of the 5 minute candle, but those equal lows. So I would rather, like I said, just be safe there. Okay, so if they hit this one, I'll wait. Yep. So I'm good. Break evens are there on that order. So like I said, if they fly this order, great. If they wait till later today to go under these equal lows and I can find something possibly when Powell's speaking, I may take that trade, but that'll be it for into the futures for today. We did not have a winning day, unfortunately. Ended up taking, let me see, where I started for today. Do the numbers here really quick. And so, like I said, if this runs up, I mean, that's fine with me. Calculator here started. Yeah, so we hit our $800 loss, which was not what we wanted to do today, but it is what it is. Yesterday we did have a win, so we lost a small amount, $80 on Monday, won 700 yesterday, and then today ended up getting hit out for about $800, right? So that is what it is. and we will be back to the drawing board. There was a couple things I just could have done better, today. There's just a couple things that just need to slow down a little bit. And then obviously when I got my clear targets, flipping back to what I do better, which is I believe is buy the market. That target was very clear, and then obviously them not attempting to take the high of the day, was them ever breaking 17.5. I mean, it just hasn't happened or even gotten close to, and I don't know how long today. So this area is still, like I said, has potential, but I just don't like it as much with this. So for into the futures, I appreciate you guys watching the stream today. I may actually stream a little bit because I'm in a different internet now. I may actually stream FOMC today. So be on the lookout for that. And with that being said, you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.